All right, we are going to get started. It is 6 p.m., March 10th. I'm going to call the meeting to order with a roll call. Trustee Schutz. Here. Trustee Coleman.
Yes.
Heidi's here. Trustee Franz.
Yes.
And Constant.
I am here.
All right, we just need a motion to amend or adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No? All right, and is there anyone here to give public comment on closed session items? Seeing none, motion to adjourn closed session? Does someone? Oh, I can just adjourn. I don't need a motion. Okay, I was being extra formal
You're staring at me like.
tonight. Make a motion, Marla. No. Okay, thanks. All right, welcome everyone. We are going to reconvene to open session tonight, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead and stand on up. All right, so we have just a quick report out from closed and one bit of action to take. On item 2.1, cases 0708 and 09, we made a motion to readmit 3 students, and that passed with a 5-0 vote. On item 2.2, we still need to take action on that item.
I would like to make a motion to approve a stipulated expulsion agreement to resolve disciplinary action according to Education Code 35146 on case number 08-25/26.
I'll second. Oh,
All right. Thank you. That was very thorough, Pete. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries 5-0. And then finally, on item 2.3, we approved a settlement agreement with a 5-0 vote on that as well. All right, next I'm going to read out our meeting protocols. The Board of Trustees encourages public participation during the meeting and requests civility and the use of courteous language. The board does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed toward any meeting participant and/or employee. There will be an opportunity tonight to speak to the Board of Trustees on items not on the agenda during the public comment section, as well as opportunities to speak to each item on the agenda when that item comes up for consideration. In the interest of facilitating the conduct of the public's business, members of the public who wish to address the board during the meeting will have specific time limits as follows. If less than 10 members of the public wish to comment, you will have 3 minutes. If more than 10 members of the public wish to comment, you will have 90 seconds. A complaint about a specific employee or employees of the district should be made to that employee's immediate supervisor or the school site principal as outlined in our board policy and administrative regulation. Please complete the comment form located on the table in the lobby, and we will call on you when it is your turn to speak. This meeting is being audio-video recorded and will be archived, and this meeting will be live streamed for viewing only, and link to live streaming can be found at rjuhsd.us/livestream. This is what the comment forms look like, so if anybody is wanting to fill any out, I have 3 so far, so if you think you turned one in, I'll call those names a little bit later. And if you still want to fill one out, you can do that and bring them over here. All right. Next is item 4, our reports and communications, and we're going to start with 4.1, our board expectations. Trustee France.
Okay. Our board expectations prepare all students for life, college, and career with high-quality academic opportunities for all students and supporting student academic success. Engage in partnership with families and the community. The school is a welcoming, safe environment that serves as the center of student learning activities, athletics, and performing arts. Promote a sense of community in our schools and the surrounding areas. Utilize effective governance and business practices. Remain open, transparent, and accountable to the community. Serve as an employer of choice with the highest quality teachers and staff.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 4.2, our board reports, and we'll start with Trustee Schutz and work our way down to our student.
Wow, 2 weeks went really quick, right, since we were here last, but I know there's a lot of, the weather's changing, so it's great being outdoors. I was over Oakmont watching tennis. It's tennis season. Our girls and boys are combined in the spring, so we have a lot of mixed doubles competition going on, and team's doing really well, so I'm happy they're over at center tonight, so. So that was a great event. I also was out at Oakmont High School for our scholarship donors reception last Friday. So it was Trustee Coleman. Thank you. I meant to bring a list of all of our donors. So thankful for all the support they give our seniors and supporting those scholarships, from our business to our family donors. Really appreciative to them, and hopefully, we're keeping that going. It's a big team effort from all of our staff and working with them too. Well, our Antelope High School girls were down at Golden One having a ball of a time. Great game. It was just being in that arena was probably, a time of their life, right? I was over at the senior dance showcase, and where each senior is putting on, program their individual dance and celebrating our seniors. And it made me, what I found really engaging about the whole thing was the message that each senior put up about their life and how the support they've gotten and how dance has impacted their lives and how it's been so beneficial to them. It makes me, made me realize how important the arts are. And so I'm glad we're keeping it to do that and emphasize that and having dance as part of that. I was also out at Wood Creek High School again for a voter outreach, which I always say it's a two for me, performing my civic duty, but also getting out to a high school site and engaging with our students. Again, this is seniors. We're trying to inform them through the Placer County elections about how important it is to vote and be informed, and then why it's important to vote for your board members and others who are down on the ballot, because the decisions they make may directly impact you the most. So very rewarding, and I'm glad to keep doing that. I'm thankful that our Placer County elections is keeping that up. We're looking for a way to bridge over to Sac County to get this to Antelope too. So we'll, TBD, but that's we're trying to get there somehow. So that's it for me.
All right, so I also had an opportunity to do a few of the voter outreach sessions. I was able to go to Wood Creek High School for a session, and then also 2 sessions at Roseville High School. And Sarah isn't here tonight, but I saw her at our Wood Creek session, which was really, really fun to do. And similar to all of you up here who've done it, I just so much enjoy those voter outreach sessions. I really appreciate going on the site. I appreciate hearing from the students and hearing their questions. They're thoughtful. I learn a lot while I'm there, listening to their questions and listening to the representatives from the different parties answer those questions. And it's really fun for me to also spark their interest in the school board and what we're doing here as well, and inviting them to come. Let's see, I really want to give a shout out to Stacy Robinson, the Public Information Officer for Placer County Elections. I can't remember, I asked her how many high schools in Placer County she organizes this for, and it's a very large number of high schools, and she tries to get to every single, well, she does. She gets to every single high school. It's a lot of work, and I think it's very valuable. Then, as Trustee Schutz said, I was able to go to the donor social, local scholarship donor social, and it's such a pleasure to attend that social and get to talk with our community members who are giving back to our schools, who are invested in our schools. I appreciate going around to the different tables and asking them, tell me about your scholarship, tell me what your criteria is, what kind of students are you looking for, and seeing the different reasons why they're bringing a scholarship forward. There's several scholarships that are memory scholarships. What's the word I'm looking for? In memoriam, thank you. And it's always so nice to ask them, tell me about your loved one, tell me about this person that you have established a scholarship in the name of, and to hear them talk about that. So I really appreciate the tremendous community support that we have for our schools. I am so grateful for our career and counseling leads at each of the sites. They put on such a professional, well put together event, and our culinary 3 and 4 classes at Oakmont did an absolutely outstanding job with the refreshments, and I wanted to call out their their teacher Carissa Jones for their superb refreshments that they provided that night.
All right, thank you. It sounds like it was the week of high school voter outreach. It was definitely keeping Stacy busy. She does an excellent job. I got to go out to Roseville High School and also saw one of our past student board rep, Shepherd, and they were just a great group of students, exactly what the two of you said. So I won't go too much into it because it's a echo of Trustee Schutz and Coleman about just the amazing quality of their questions and their engagement. And I know that Ryan Ronco has said that our county has one of the highest percentage of voter registrations in the state, maybe the highest, either one or two. And I really do think that the high school voter outreach program is helping to contribute to our high percentage of registered voters and voter turnout. So it's very fun. I also got to take a visit to John Adams Academy, which was amazing and very special. They had an unveiling of a John and Abigail Adams statue. I won't talk too much about it, just in case you guys are going to, but it was beautiful and great seeing all the scholars out there. And then I got to tour, it wasn't school board related per se, but I got to tour a manufacturing plant locally here in Roseville, and they were really wanting to emphasize to parents and students the importance of the CTE pathways and how many local jobs are available in manufacturing, welding, machining, and it was very informative. I'll probably connect with you about it even more because we brainstormed many ideas of how to really let students know that there are viable careers out there in the trades and in the manufacturing facilities. And then lastly, I wanted to give a quick plug for the Placer Youth Commission, which are groups of local high school students, and they are putting on a free 5K fun run promoting anti-vaping, anti-smoking health initiatives for high school students. So that's March 21st, Maidu Community Center. It's free, and you can walk or run if you like. I'm going to be walking. So, all right, Trustee Franz.
I'm excited. I have something different to say. That
Okay.
was, my goodness. So last week I attended the Roseville High School Avid Showcase. Administrators from all over our larger Sacramento area came to observe and learn more about how they can implement the Avid program at their own school. I actually met someone that came down from Chico, so it's remarkable what Roseville High School is doing there. And my personal highlights were I really enjoyed the teacher panel and the round table that was led by students who were leading their Avid Club. What struck me is these students had a true passion for educating their peers on how to apply for college and what are the important dates. And it's remarkable that they've been mentored in such a way that they want to share everything they're learning with their peers. And I can have nothing but good thing to say. And their statistics are really impressive. Roseville High School has really found a way, I think, to close the opportunity gap by preparing these students for college and career success. So if you ever have a chance to visit anything with an Avid event, I would highly recommend it. So, thanks.
Glad to see you're such an avid supporter of Avid. So, I have no report because while these folks were all working, I was in Florida relaxing. So I will just spare my time and give it all to our lovely student.
Okay, well, we just kicked off our spring sports, which is going off to a great start. Volleyball, track, all of those, amazing. But we finished off our winter league actually with our basketball team our women's basketball team going to the Golden One Center, and they actually made it to the first round of state as well, which is pretty awesome, big accomplishment, and super proud of them. Our Titan band, they performed the national anthem at the Golden One Center March 3rd before the Kings game, always representing Antelope, amazing. We have a new assistant principal for this last quarter, Miss Amy Pritchard. She's so sweet. Had her as a teacher before, but she's always spreading a smile on everyone's face, greeting students in the halls. It's great to see, and we're just all excited to have her out here. Something new that's pretty cool is actually our Titan Theater program. They're going over to our elementary school now, performing. I think all the younger kids, they love seeing it. They love seeing high schoolers there. So it's really cool to see they're getting inspired to just come out, hopefully in the future at Antelope, and just become a part of our performing arts programs. Coming up next week, we actually have our annual battle, the Titan Spirit Week, which is Ninja Turtle theme versus Teen Titans. Very new, very fresh. We're super excited for that. Basically, kind of how it runs for us is we have our freshmen and seniors team up against the sophomores and juniors, and then in the middle of the week they play a powder puff game. So girls are usually your flag football team, kind of, and then we have our boys out there doing cheering, which is really fun to just see as a whole. Lots of participation, super excited for that. So highly encourage you, if you guys are free next Wednesday, to come attend. But we also have to wrap up our Spirit Week, we have a rally on that Friday, introducing some new fun rally games. So I know a lot of students are really excited for that. Performances coming up, we have our Newsies theater program. I think it's a Disney offset, I'm not sure, but it sounds really interesting. So if you're interested in that, at the beginning of April, come out to Antelope and you'll get to see our performing arts. And then we also have our dance show coming up. Lastly, that I have for you guys, something super exciting is we have a CTE workshop over at Sierra College. I think students are super excited for it just because, there's biomedical tables, there's firefighting tables, paramedic, anything you could think of, you're going to find there. Great opportunities, so students are really happy for that.
All right,
Thank
that
you.
sounds very fun, especially that Ninja Turtle part. So I might be having to follow up with you, Mrs. Cutts, to see if I can just come and join in on that fun. All right, next is item 4.4, our superintendent report.
Yeah, so hot off the press from the California Department of Education, Antelope High School was recognized as a 2026 California Distinguished School. So congratulations to Principal Cutts and her team. And the category was Achievement Gap Closers, schools that are accelerating academic progress for 2 or more groups that have been historically underserved, while also demonstrating achievement for all students that is above the state median and maintaining or increasing academic performance for all students. So congratulations to Principal Cutts, congratulations to Miley, representing Antelope High School, and they get to go get recognized at Disneyland in the month of April. So, and then next is, just kind of came across during an election season, I believe a 2005 graduate from Granite Bay High School, Armin Mazzani, was elected to the Texas House of Representatives from District 98. He's also been the mayor of Keller, Texas, outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth area since 2020. So just to see an alum doing some good things out there in the state of Texas. But so congratulations to Armin. So.
Okay, amazing, that's fun. Committee reports, I don't believe any committees have met in the last 2 weeks. And then we are on to 4.6, our RSEA report with Mr. Delordo.
Well, good evening. As you may know, the RSCA membership voted on our proposed tentative agreement, and it passed. So we're looking forward to another rolling out of another year of negotiations, but not too soon, because it's nice to see these guys, but it's nice to not have to be missing class also during the process. I am also always impressed at how slow it is to do really good work sometimes. And with the help and support of Dr. Karros and your pulling from the agenda, the CAS bump, we've had some very decent conversations with our math, science, and English site reps, well, not site reps, but our department coordinators or whoever they've sent in. And we were in this very room just last week talking about things that range from motivations for students in terms of standardized tests that mean nothing to them, and so how do you get them to do the best on them so they can give us the best information that we can use and also look great to the rest of the world. At the same time, not undercutting anything that really is kind of sanctified in the sense of grades and what teachers are trying to do with their classes and show that an A is an A and a B is a B, and trying to weave through that. It's a slow process, but math is making a lot of movement. We're looking forward to possibly having it kind of cinched up by next week, at the very least. And English and science are at least working through the process too. But again, it's part of what I love when our district does what it does so well, is partnerships with our experts in the class who have sometimes collectively hundreds of years of education experience amongst the group that we'll be meeting, and the leaders that see the bigger picture of what we're trying to get to as far as the overall community and the way we work with the state. It's just really slow. It's a slow process when done well. But anyways, thank you for the time, and I look forward to working on more things.
All right, thank you. Okay, so next is our public comment time for items not on the agenda. And I don't see any comment cards for items not on the agenda, but I'll do like a final call. No? Okay. Next then will be our consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, and we will do a roll call vote for this one. Trustee Schutz?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Hall, yes. Franz?
Yes.
And Constant? And our student board member? All right, consent passes 5-0 and 1 student board member. Okay, let me scroll for a bit here. Okay, moving on to our first action item, 7.1, our John Adams Academy Charter Renewal Petition. Do we want to do the presentation first or public comment first? Okay.
Thank you, President Hall.
Okay.
This evening, we have Director Lisa Voss, who will be doing a quick presentation on staff's findings with regards to John Adams Academy Roseville Chapter Charter Renewal Petition. And then we welcome any questions our Board of Trustees may have of our charter partner or of staff.
I'm kind of short, so. Yeah, good evening. Today we're going to present the charter renewal recommendation for John Adams Academy. So basically, they turn in their petition, staff goes over it, gives suggestions, and then gives a recommendation to the board. So I'm going to briefly outline the staff's findings regarding John Adams Academy's academic, operational, and fiscal health as they seek continued partnership. Do I have the power or somebody else? Do I have it? Sorry. Oh, nope,
There you go.
too many. Nope, sorry. I don't do this often enough, clearly. Okay, so overall, the staff is recommending a full 5-year renewal with specific operational conditions that they have already met. We gave them some suggestions on their petition. So they have met all of those. They already met the statutory requirements for governance, liability, and the employee qualifications. Academic performance and program pillars. So they meet or exceed the Cal State and the UC grad expectations. They are aligned with the classical curriculum and instructional model. And they have met the requirements for EL identification and reclassification. They did add the EL master plan in your packet so that you can see that now. Okay, I think I missed one. Did I? I did, okay. So also, no, I didn't, sorry. Okay, so in regards to special education, they are compliant at this time. They made significant revisions to the original charter packet, which you got a month ago. You can see those in your packet. They also updated their school safety plan to the new requirements of the 2026 plan. They established formal protocols for the AED machine. And let's see, yeah, and they're compliant with everything else. For financial, they did have some reporting discrepancies, just reporting how they reported from their audit. Those were rectified to the satisfaction of Joe and Lauren, so they are in compliance with all of that. And then the final recommendation was to approve the charter based upon the successful resolution of all the updates that they made, correction of the fiscal reporting, and the special education section. The immediate next step is a board discussion, public input, and then a vote on the renewal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll bring it to the board for any other questions, comments? No? Okay. We've had a couple meetings where we've been able to ask a lot of questions. Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Let's
Sorry
get-
about that. So just for those of you who don't know, in my day job, I am an attorney and I work with authorizers a lot. And many times I presented on issues around access and make it an option for everybody. And so I'm hypersensitive to any barriers to access, because charter schools are meant to be open to all students. So I inquired and I appreciate some responses. Some of the areas, and first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much. I was able to visit your site last week. Carlos, thank you so much for showing me around. I really think you have an amazing campus and how you have your programs that are so accessible to each other, and you have that interconnectedness between your high school students and your elementary grades. Done a lot with there over the years, so I'm kudos to that. And again, as I reiterate, congratulations on your high achieving status, which is a big accomplishment. So some of the issues, going back to my kind of, I guess, call it hypersensitivity around access issues, I raised some concern about, your handbook not making it super clear that your volunteering, parent volunteering was completely, voluntary and not a condition of admission or continued enrollment. Because in past, that has been a concern with charters, and that, we're requiring all this time, there's no way I could accomplish that, I'm not going to even send my student there. So I had suggested, maybe that a handbook be revised to make that more clear, that it's voluntary. And I understand that your website already states that, and I appreciate the fact that John Adams' willingness to kind of make that more clear in your handbook moving forward, given that that's probably what your families are going to see face forward versus what's in your charter. They're probably not going to read that very often, but your family handbook, they will. The other area was in pupil fees. I know that you indicate that this $100 annual fee referenced in the handbook is completely, it references the ability to go to your business office if there's a hardship, if that can't be achieved. But since it was mentioned so many times, I had some concern that your handbook could more clearly state that payment of the fee is not a condition of admission or continued enrollment, that it's strictly voluntary. And my understanding is that charters indicated that they're going to update their family handbook to also make that more clear and to families. So I'm happy that John Adams is taking steps to better clarify these two items. And then with that, those are just some comments that I appreciated. I also had a question related to the board, and it's still not completely clear to me. It doesn't appear that you have a full, complete board right now. You have a 5-member board, but there's only 4 listed in your charter, and I don't know if you're trying to fill that 5th spot. But your website does identify a person who is designated as a board chaplain, and I understand in the response that you clarify that they're not a board director, they're not a trustee on your board. So I'm just wondering why you even have them on your board, that person on your board, and why, kind of lends into my concerns about a perception about your school, and that so it just kind of lending to that. And I don't think that's been clearly explained to me, why you have that individual, while she's not currently on the board according to the charter school. She was on the board for a number of years, my indication 19 to 23. And if you Google her and your charter school, there's video out there that, her representing herself as a board member. It's probably outdated, But if I was just from the outside and looking at that, I'd be like, whoa, you have a board chaplain on a public charter schools board. My perception, or if I could perceive that incorrectly, someone else could too, just by, searching your school. So there's some concerns I had, and I appreciate the responses and administration working with you to get those responses.
I'd like to make a quick comment if I could, and specifically address the chaplain issue. And I know Bill knows this as an attorney, but the First Amendment doesn't just protect freedom of speech, it protects freedom of expression. And voluntary access of a chaplain in any government or public building does not equal government endorsement. The Supreme Court has reviewed several cases on that and made it very clear. As you know, not only does the U.S. Army and the U.S. House of Representatives have chaplains, but so does Placer County Sheriff's Department, so does the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, the San Jose Police Department. In fact, my wife and I were married by a police chaplain back when we got married, and I was a police officer at the time. In fact, excluding chaplains from the public square would be viewpoint discrimination. And it's been really made clear by the Supreme Court that the key constitutional question is whether there's coercion or not. Not the fact that somebody happens to be a chaplain, not that a government agency has a chaplain available. So I really think that that's a red herring at best. I think that if we had a chaplain in every classroom giving instruction, I'd probably say you're right. But to raise an issue as if it's a problem when it is so constitutionally and court precedentially okay to do so, I think is done in bad faith. So I just wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to counter that. Thank you.
And if I could just say one thing in response to that, I wasn't ever saying it was illegal. I was saying it in conjunction with my concerns expressed to John Adams over the past couple meetings. It kind of lended to my overall concern. And it hasn't been explained to me why we really need that person on your board, except that she's a consultant to your existing board,
Right, and it's
which
their-
I don't, so.
I was
with
just saying,
that,
it's
I mean,
their
they're-
board, so they
Yeah.
have the ability to choose who they want to be
Right.
around.
Right, you're right.
All right, at this time, if you don't have any other comments or questions, we'll go to public comment. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 speakers, which means that you have 3 minutes. And I'm going to list off your names in order, just so you know who's first, second, third, and then I'll do the second batch of the 1, 2, 3. So we have Norman Gonzalez, Hannah McHenry, and Sarah Renner. And you can come on up.
I was hoping to be last because the rule is always be closing, right? So you never want to be the first one up. You always want to be the closer. But unfortunately, I didn't ask to be last, so thank you.
Yours was just on the top.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. So Board of Trustees, Superintendents, District staff, thank you. I just want to come up and first of all say thank you for the dedicated work that you do each and every day to ensure quality education and making sure that those quality educational opportunities exist throughout your entire district, not only through the schools that are operated directly by you in the district, but also through schools of choice such as John Adams Academy, Roseville. As noted by members of your board in prior meetings, it is you who truly serve the entire community by ensuring that the community has access to schools of choice. As you approve charter schools and provide oversight, the educational marketplace or landscape really makes that final decision as to the quality or the existence of the charter school. So if we have a quality and valuable charter school, then those in the community will determine our existence by continuing to come and enroll. And so John Adams Academy Roseville has not only been in operation since fall of 2011, it has continued to grow and improve, and every year continued to survive and grow and thrive in this educational landscape. I've served many roles at the Academy over the years, including my current role as the principal of our secondary program there at Roseville. I've seen firsthand as a board member, a chief operations officer, a compliance director, a headmaster, a principal, and other stewardships, that John Adams Academy Roseville is not only compliant with the law and meets the requirements in order to be renewed, but more importantly is serving the educational needs of scholars and families. I've also experienced the beauty and value of John Adams Academy through my most important role, and that's as that of a parent. I'm the proud parent of 2 scholars at John Adams Academy, one in 8th grade and one in 3rd grade. They're both thriving and each very thankful for the opportunity to attend the school, although maybe not so thankful that their dad is one of their principals. Schools of choice like John Adams Academy don't exist for the children that are succeeding in district schools. Trust me, there are many children thriving in district schools. We see a great example of that right here with our board trustee student representative. Schools of choice like John Adams Academy serve those who don't fit in at the traditional public school, who are looking for something different, who need something aligned to their family and individual needs. Families continue to choose our American Classical Leadership education because it provides them a home that they don't have anywhere else, challenging them, helping them to grow into the fullness of who they were intended to be. Throughout the life of this academy, we've been not only a good partner with our parents and scholars, but a good neighbor and a member of the community. We've worked hard to be a good partner with Roseville Joint and have enjoyed the benefits of that good, strong working relationship. We are thankful to the staff for the recommendation to renew this academy and to the opportunity to continue this strong working relationship in support of the entire community. We do have staff that are here, in addition to parents and scholars, that are here to answer questions that you might have for anything that comes as a result of the public comment or any questions that you have from the deliberation. We're happy to answer those questions to give you any confidence that you need to make this vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then next up is Hannah.
I'm gonna have to adjust this, I'm a little short.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see. Let's see, wait. This is cool. Thank you. I love this, short people friendly.
Okay, you are good to go.
First of all, I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for letting us give some comments as you guys are voting on renewing our charter. As you just heard, my name is Hannah McKendry, and I am a senior at John Adams Academy, Roseville. I have been fortunate enough to go to this school for the past 12 years, making it my home away from home, spending many hours there. John Adams' focus on servant leadership in the classics has allowed me and my fellow classmates the opportunities that cannot be found at most schools. At the school, I have been able to be part of a national award-winning choir, a 2-year member of our scholar government on cabinet, and also the president of our National Honor Society. With a major focus in these fields on servant leadership and trying to serve our community and our school. I have also been offered the opportunity to be taught by our amazing staff members, furthering and expanding the minds of me and the countless others who have been taught through the John Adams curriculum. Also through our curriculum, we have been taught the amazing ways that you can be involved because we are afforded those things at our school. And because I did not know I was going to have 3 minutes, I thought I was going to have 2. I would like at this time to just ask the board to please vote yes on this. I know it does not affect me as I will be graduating this year, but it is amazing the opportunities that we have at John Adams, and I would love to see those younger than me, for those I TA for, and those who I've gotten to know over my past 12 years, to be able to have the same opportunities that John Adams have given to me. Thank you for your time.
Right. And then Sarah.
Hard to follow that act. All right, thank you. My name is Sarah Renner, and I am a parent of 2 scholars at John Adams Academy, but I'm also a disability specialist of 25 years and 20 years as an educational advocate that offers free services in the community for children that are not being provided effective access. So thank you, Bill, for bringing that up. I would like to address that I feel that John Adams Academy is systemically non-compliant in their special education delivery, and my daughter personally has been abused by them for 2 years. Despite extensive mediation with the SELPA, ongoing discussions, multiple UCP complaints, OCR, FERPA, it is now at the CDE. I've never seen anything like this in my entire career as an advocate, and it is because of a mindset that they do not have to comply with the law and that they don't have adequate oversight. And that's why I've come to speak with you, because you are the oversight body to deal with this locally. There's been much talk about the state stepping in and providing more oversight at the state level. I love charter education and school choice. And I would love to see local bodies step up and deal with these types of things when you have bad actors doing a bad job, instead of it having to go to the state level where there's less and less options for families. A school of choice does not mean you choose to have your child abused. Her doctors have written multiple notes stating that the ongoing retaliation is resulting in significant medical harm that is permanent. There is no excuse for this. I am imploring you to put this on pause, find out how many Office of Civil Rights complaints have been lodged, how many UCP complaints, because that has not been reviewed, and how many problems there are with non-compliance with special education. Their disabilities identification numbers at Roseville are 6% below the state average. You only get that through suppression, and they do suppress identification. And when numbers of kids come in, every child gets $1,000 that goes in the pot for special ed. If you abuse out or push out children to receive those services, it is a financial benefit to your business. It is an effective marketplace model. So marketplace is not the only factor in whether or not you're doing a good job as a school. Minority groups do matter, and special ed is a fragile and unique population that have a myriad of needs that have to be protected by oversight because they are a special group of students. And I'm so happy that other children that have gone to this school have not been abused and are having a happy time. But that small percentage of children that have special needs that are then targeted and retaliated against because they do not want to do what's right, they need to be protected by agency oversight, and that is this body. And I wrote you about this when I heard this was before this board. Please take what I'm saying seriously and put a pause on this until you can review the policy and implementation side. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next three are going to be Brandon and Joshua, and then Megan and Courtney.
Thanks. Oh,
We can move it back up.
It'll actually pick you up, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
It'll just be me. My son won't be, his name was on there too, but just me. I'm a parent of 4 sons who've gone to John Adams Academy. I really enjoy the curriculum of that school, and I appreciate the teachers who are there. I appreciate the thoughtful discussion among the board members, and I hope that it's taken as opportunities to improve for any issues you've identified, and I encourage your vote for renewing the charter for John Adams Academy. So don't need the full 3 minutes, but just that's my thoughts, and thank you.
All right, thank you. And then Megan?
Thank you to the board and trustees for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you for the service to the Roseville community. My name is Megan Lake, and our family lives within the Roseville High School, Joint Union High School District. And though we live walking distance from Wood Creek High School and often enjoy the energetic sound of the local football games and the other events there from our front porch, when we moved here to Roseville in the fall of 2020, we elected to enroll our 3 school-age children at John Adams Academy. From elementary to middle and high school, we have had an excellent experience with John Adams Academy. Because of the naturally smaller class size and student body size of the high school program, supportive mentors, and frequent Socratic discussions of classical literature, my son with autism is making excellent academic and personal progress in the general education setting. My husband and I strongly feel that this could not be possible on a traditional, large, public high school campus. I was disappointed and very surprised to hear the speaker who had a negative experience with John Adams Academy special education programs, as my son has been given excellent IEP supports throughout his education there, and we are so grateful for the special education teams. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board for honoring and renewing the John Adams Academy Charter. Because of your support, our family displaced by COVID has found a wonderful academic community, and our children are thriving at John Adams Academy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then Courtney.
Courtney, I have two scholars from John Adams. Can you guys hear me okay?
There you go.
I wanted to just, sorry, I have to do this reader thing now. I wanted to just echo the previous speaker's words of gratitude for your work as school board members. I know that it's often a very thankless job, and I appreciate your willingness to serve our community. In the spring of 2011, I took a chance and enrolled my oldest child, Cooper, in a new soon-to-open charter school called John Adams Academy. As a Roseville resident, I am grateful for the quality schools in my district, but I deeply value the classical learning style that JAA promised to offer. That fall, my son's was the first ever kindergarten class at JAA. He graduated from the academy in 2024, the first class to receive a full JAA K-12 education. I can say with absolute certainty that the promises made to my kindergartner were promises kept, evident in the truly educated and thoughtful person he has become. His roommates, well, I'll get to that, hold on. 5 years ago, I asked this board to approve our charter so my children could continue to advance in their classical studies. Today, I'm here to report back that Cooper's pursuit of the good, the true, and the beautiful continue on in his higher education, and we are so grateful to the Roseville Joint Union High School District for helping make that possible. Along with a few of his fellow patriots, including his roommates' parents, who are here tonight, he is currently thriving at a rigorous liberal arts university. Today, I am again asking the board to approve our charter renewal so that my youngest, a 7th grader, will maintain the opportunity to follow in her brother's footsteps. The staff at JAA has provided our family with an immeasurable gift of an exceptional education for our children, something we hope will continue to be available to other families who would also choose John Adams Academy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I completely understand about the readers, Courtney. I'm like on, off, on, off. I thought, did I see one more? Had you gone to get one? Go ahead. I saw you, so. Sure. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. I saw you getting it, so, okay. You will be our last one, and Sharston? Sharston, okay.
I get, it's fine. I get it all the time. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening to be here and listen to our want to renew the charter. My oldest daughter started in 1st grade when the school opened. We took a chance, and every year we're like, okay, we can do it. Okay, we can still do it. 3rd grade, okay, had an amazing 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade teacher, amazing. Her 3rd grade teacher is still here, Mrs. Mitchell, we love her. And she graduated in 2023. She was in NHS. She had so many opportunities. She had a, sorry. A 7th and 8th grade history teacher, Mrs. Groth, who passed away, years ago, but my daughter remembered going to the Gathering Inn. She took her whole class, and they served the homeless dinner, and they put on a play for the homeless, and they loved it. And my daughter was so grateful for that experience that they could go out in the community and serve people in their community in need. Also, I have a junior right now at John Adams. She's been there since kindergarten. She had an IEP, and she graduated to a 504 because of the teachers at John Adams. And the SPED program at the high school is amazing. I love them. I have a relationship with them. I just had a meeting with them, and her teachers, they have her full support. She gets all the support she needs. She's getting really good grades for her. I'm just so thankful for this school, and I don't know where my kids would be without it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll bring it back for, I hear you, we got a question, questions or comments?
Yeah, I just thought that I'd like to hear just a little bit more maybe from our Ed Services or Principal Voss about your process of when you received the charter, all of the hands and the eyes that went through the charter. And then I'd like to give an opportunity to the administration from John Adams to respond to some of the concerns that have been brought up tonight. They've been brought up publicly, so I'd like to give you a chance to respond to them publicly.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Coleman. I'll start, and then any of my colleagues, assistant superintendents, if you wish to join, please do. Trustees, as you know, we received the first draft from John Adams Academy Roseville campus for their charter petition renewal on December 10th. And since then, our staff, I brought it to our cabinet meeting, and I expressed to my cabinet colleagues as well as our superintendent, Lisa Voss, and I divided the sections of the charter petition as according to Ed Code and as according to charter statute to ensure that all of our different departments of our school district complete the responsibility of reviewing the charter language as provided by John Adams, as according to CDE renewal criteria, as according to Education Code criteria. And then between December 10th and February 10th, which was, as you will know or remember with our public hearing, we have been in constant communication with Superintendent Henke and his staff to ensure that they make corrections as necessary and as advised by the different departments of Roseville Joint Union High School District. Specifically, special education, which was mentioned this evening, was reviewed by our executive director, Craig Garabedian, and he took extensive time to making note of all of the areas of concerns, and we communicated it with Superintendent Henke and his staff, and then they made corrections and revisions as noted before we published it on our website as according to our obligations, and then before we also published it this evening as an exhibit. So that is the process. It's really been a couple of months-long process between RJUHSD staff and John Adams Academy Roseville campus staff to ensure that we are upholding the responsibilities as expected of us as not only an authorizer, but also as a charter school that is an option for our community. I didn't know if superintendent or any of my assistant superintendent colleagues wanted to add anything.
Well, maybe I can just, so we're a big fan of Craig. So Craig gave us the thumbs up on the special ed program, correct? Okay.
Craig, did you want to add anything?
No, you just did this, so good.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kurose. And then I just wanted to hear from John Adams and address some of those concerns that have come before us, and also just share with us what you've done to be ready for this recharter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. I think it was very thoughtful. I want to express my thanks as well for the board, all that you serve in the community and the district staff. Thank you so much. First of all, I've been with the Academy I'm completing my 9th year. I still have 2 children in the school. I've had other children as well that have graduated and gone on, but I want you to know I love the school. I love the academic program. I love all that it has. I've seen the fruits of that over the years in the graduates in their lives. I wouldn't want to bar anybody from our school. No barriers, Bill. I know that we do have a $100 donation. We don't publish a class supply list like a lot of the schools. Instead, we ask for a donation, but it doesn't hinder enrollment. We never ask anyone to leave. It's a simple ask. Those that can pay. Those that can't, don't, and we don't pressure. Hours of service is likewise. Volunteerism is actually one of our values. We encourage it. We encourage our scholars to do it. It's servant leadership all around. And so we do set an expectation of 40 hours of service. Again, though, we don't bar anyone from that, and we try to provide. The hard part for us is providing enough opportunities for parents to volunteer. But anyway, we do that.
Chaplain, and maybe I can meet with you privately, Bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but the board has it's an officer position. It's not a trustee. It's a non-voting position, and Tamara is a chaplain to the board, and she serves in that. It's really an honorary position that they have. As far as there have been some, parent tonight. It's hard to hear accusations, not really be able to speak. I can't really speak and share that. I will say the parent is from another school. It's from our El Dorado Hills school, and so I couldn't even share the data if you asked me for it for FERPA or even HIPAA, conditions. So, but anyway. If you're wanting to look more into our processes, procedures, and protocols, we're an open book. We're happy to share that with anyone at any time. Please feel free to come and we'll walk you through that. I want to thank both Bill and Heidi for coming out in the last couple of weeks. We enjoyed having you, we enjoyed hosting you, and we open that invitation to everybody. We'd love to see you and show you around and welcome you to our campus. Do you have any other questions I could answer?
I don't. Thank you for that. Actually, you did have a question about the board, that is there 4 or 5 members on your board?
There are 5 members, so we've, within the last 60 days, have a new appointment. Her name's Jean Pagnoni. She's also, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess I would, not necessarily a question for you, but maybe turning it back to Dr. Carroz or Mr. Karabedian, just, you've been through the entire packet with the special ed. You've combed through that and made the, requested revisions, and you feel confident that those revisions have been made as needed?
Yes, I'll speak, and then Mr. Garabedian, if you can come up to the microphone and just speak briefly. Yes, Mr. Garabedian and I actually combed through, because I support and serve everything educational components. I either did it or did it with my executive directors. And so Mr. Garabedian did articulate in writing some areas of concerns, and John Adams Academy Roseville campus attended to it, and I'll have Craig share some of those areas briefly.
Yes, so we reviewed everything in detail. The requirements pertaining to Section 504 and special education they're vast. They're very complex, and they're unlike any other part of the educational system. In total, there were 13 areas that needed some minor corrections. And so we recommended those 13 corrections. John Adams made all 13 of those corrections. I've reviewed the revised documents that they provided, and everything looks fine. I don't have any concerns at this time about the information that's provided in the application.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Just a couple of brief comments. One, I want to say that John Adams is an incredible asset to our community, not just our Roseville joint community, but the entire Placer County region. And I know that your reach is pretty vast in bringing students in. I want to highlight that the John Adams I know has always been responsive. They've been responsive to their scholars. They've been responsive to their parents. They've been responsive to the community in which their schools sit. And I think what we've seen tonight is a charter school that has been extremely responsive to our staff. And I want to point out that this is not an extraordinary thing to have revisions in a charter renewal. Virtually every charter that goes through the initial charter authorizing or renewals, it is a discussion with the authorizer, us, or whatever school district it is, to make sure that all bases are covered and that it is explored deeply. And I think that's what we've seen here. And I want to highlight that responsiveness. It wasn't we had 15 concerns and they only addressed 13. It was we had 13 concerns and all 13 have been satisfied. And I think that's an important thing to note. And I want to say, I mentioned the asset to the community, but they really fill a need in the community. There is a significant number of families that seek alternative education. And it can come in many different forms. And I myself, I've mentioned this before, I've got 5 kids. My kids have been in private school, they've been in charter school, they've been in public school. When they got to university, they've been in Cal State University, they've been in out-of-state universities, they've been in private universities, Christian universities. They kind of span the spectrum. And that's what we should be doing for our community, is providing a range of options. And we as a school district, we do it in our own schools. That's why we have DE, IB, all the different things we do are to give our families choice. Not only do they fill that need and that gap and that desire for families and scholars, they do it well. They do it really well. And the proof, if you don't think that they're serving and that there's a need for them, all you have to do is look at their waiting list. People are clamoring to get to John Adams Academy. And if that's not enough, spend some time talking to some of their graduates, like I have. I see their graduates sometimes in my other job and sometimes just in the community, and they're outstanding students. Just like our seniors are outstanding students. There's more than one way to educate a child. And for that, I'm thankful for the work that you do. I'm thankful for the work that all of our sites and all of our programs do. And with that, I'd be honored to make the motion to approve the reauthorization of the charter.
I'll second.
Some additional comments, and I really had another question for staff, but it was mainly around the fact that I know the law allows charter authorizers to authorize charter schools that serve grades that they don't, as long as they're serving all the grades of their authorizers, it's permitted by law. But I just grapple with the fact of how, as a high school district, we can really effectively oversee an elementary program when we don't serve an elementary program. I know a lot of our administrators come from elementary backgrounds, so I'm believing we can get there. But that's the ongoing concern for me, and it would have been if I was on the board that actually approved this petition initially. I want to be clear, because I think it's been insinuated otherwise, that I am for charter schools. I love public charter schools. I'm in favor of them. I think they're an important part of our education system in California. They've been around since 1992. They were brought in as an alternative to the voucher program, if anyone recalls. I think it's important for our students to have choice, because students are different, and a comprehensive high school may not be the right place for them. And you're obviously meeting a need by providing that choice. It's right in the intent of the Charter School Act that they're supposed to provide parents and pupils with expanded choices in the types of educational opportunities that are available within a public school system. It's written into the intent of the Charter School Act. Charter schools are public schools, despite what some people may misconstrue. They have to be non-sectarian, they have to not discriminate actually or in effect. Over the years, we've seen enactment of multiple laws to ensure that charter schools remain accessible to students who want to attend, and some of those I referenced earlier about the volunteering and pupil fees. Those were all laws that went into place that says charter schools, you can't do that. You're like any other public school in that area. I know Mr. Constant at a prior meeting in February referenced the beauty of choice, and that if you don't agree with the core values, you just don't apply. Well, John Adams is a public school that receives funding from state based on our tax dollars. And yes, while a family may choose or not choose to attend John Adams, the charter school may not put up barriers, actual or perceived or in effect, to access to all students. So I had voiced concerns about your core values, and the fact that one of your core values around public virtue and private virtue, expressly states, our Constitution, references our Constitution was made only for moral and religious people, and that your scholars recite at least the pillars every day, not to that degree, but also your admission requirements in your charter reference that applicants must review the John Adams Academy American Classical Leadership Education Model, mission, vision, core values, and dress code prior to application or enrollment. I don't know if you're having them read to that degree, but my concern is someone's reading that and saying, I don't want to send my student there because of that. And hence creating a barrier for this access to this opportunity that should be available to all. So I'm having really trouble supporting the renewal. I know that this was high performing and the default is really approval, at least for academic basis, and that staff is recommending approval. So I'm having trouble voting no, but I'm not able to really support the renewal for the reasons I've stated. And that I believe that could create a barrier or a deterrent to access to family students who may reasonably perceive that John Adams is something different than a public charter school that's open to all. It may be perceived as a private Christian school. While not as blatant a barrier so that it's discriminatory on its face, I believe that it can have that similar type of effect and runs contrary to the Charter School Act and intent of the Charter School Act, where it should be open to all students. So I think I've been very open about this subject, and unless I saw that changed eventually, I can't really support a renewal. But I'm sure you'll succeed without my vote.
Bill, can I ask you just a quick question? When I took my children to charter school, I took them to Discovery Charter School in the Bay Area. And everything you said about acknowledging what they do and how they do it is exactly what I had to do as a parent for my child to go to Discovery School. And if I didn't agree with the Discovery process of education, because it's a school of choice, I could have chose not to have my kid go there. I had to do the exact same thing. The items on the list were different, but you subscribe to what the school does. And so, while I hear what you're saying, I don't get your point, just to be blunt. And why is it different than a parent subscribing to Discovery style of education?
I can't speak to the code of conduct or whatever you prescribe to, but did it have anything regarding religion in that description of what you had to commit to?
No, but there was coercion in the fact that we had to agree to the Discovery, and if you didn't like it, there were parents who put their kids in and hated the Discovery model and wanted them to change how they did things. And that constitutional question is around coercion. There's no coercion anywhere in this. And just labeling something Christian doesn't make it bad, it's just different.
And I'm not represented in any way that what they're doing is illegal or discriminatory in actuality. It's the impact that it could have, a deterrent effect and a barrier which is contrary to the Charter School Act and the intent of that.
Well, I think you're misreading it because, charter schools, that's the whole idea of choice. If someone offers you a choice and you agree with it, then you make that choice, and if you don't, you don't. It's like me going to a salad bar. I go to the meat. It's a choice. It's not because I'm anti-vegan. I love vegetables, by the way, as long as they're with my meat. But, that's part of the whole choice system. You can't have a choice system but then dictate what the choices are. So I guess we've beat a dead horse on there, but I just want to say that's important. And then the part about the student fee, the $100 fee, I got 5 kids. 5 kids through K-8 is a lot of years that I was given really, really, really long lists of crap I had to buy and send with my kid, way over $100 per kid every year. And our public schools do that exact same thing. In fact, in the public schools, there's fairly open shaming if you don't participate. So, and I know that that's not the case at John Adams. It's a silent process. You deal with the office, If you pay, you pay. If you don't, you don't. They don't call you out in classrooms like I've seen in elementary school classrooms where that happens. So I don't really have anything else to say other than I look forward to concluding the vote.
All right. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just want to make sure, Bill, you said you had a question for staff that we maybe move through the
I
motion
think
faster
I
than.
think I got to it. It's about the
Do you-
oversight issue. but
Is it
we
important to
can-
you to have that answered
No,
here tonight?
we can have offline, it's fine.
Okay, I just want to make sure when you have those questions. And I would just like to express my appreciation to our staff for the extensive amount of work that they have put into going through this charter. And I appreciate John Adams responding to it. And I appreciate Trustee Schutz's questions and that he has really taken time to go through. And I think that good questions really lead to great outcomes. And so I think that all of those questions, I feel really positive, will just lead to an even greater John Adams than you already have. So I wanted to express my appreciation for all of that. And also just share that I feel that John Adams is an asset to our community as well. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate, I know a lot of families that attend John Adams. I do hope you fix your pickup situation over there. That's the only thing. I don't know how that's ever going to get resolved, but thank you for what you're doing, and I look forward to supporting the recharter.
It's funny that you mentioned the parking, or the parking lot. I met this coffee barista the other day, and he has a traveling coffee cart, and he's trying to grow his business. I told him, go to the John Adams Academy line, set up your coffee cart, so if you see him, you can blame me. No, he's not gonna actually do that. I'll just add that I am one of 4 siblings, and 3 of us went to public school, and my youngest sister went to a charter school. So just another example of, even within one family, there might be different choices and opportunities that parents might make for their students. My 3 boys go to Roseville High, but we did, consider charter schools as well. We just kind of weighed out, what was best for us. I'll tell one very quick fun story, and then I'll see if you have any comments. But I randomly had to get an oven replaced last week, and the worker came out to fix my oven. He saw my kids' Legos. Yes, we have Legos in the kitchen, just throw that out there. He sees the Legos and he was like, oh, that's so cool. My 6-year-old loves Legos. And I'm like, oh, cool. Tell me about your 6-year-old. Anyway, he goes to John Adams Academy. So it was just a real random coincidence. And I, of course, was like, oh, how is he liking it? He doesn't know that I have anything to do with the John Adams Academy. He's just like, we love it so much. It's been so great for our 6-year-old, and we hope that our daughter gets in, So it was just nice to see the reach that you guys have in the community in just such a random occurrence like that. So anyway, anything?
I think everyone's ready for a vote.
Okay,
so-
and we have a first and a second, and I forget who made them. We had a first by Pete and a second by Tiffany. And before I forget, Miley, did you have anything that you wanted to say? I've completely ignored you. I'm so sorry. You're good. Okay. And let me make sure this is not a resolution. Nope, this is an all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed.
I'm just abstaining.
Okay, so 4 and 1 abstain. All right. Well, congratulations. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. I love it when we have public comment. It had been a while since we had that many, which is why I forgot the order. Like, wait, do we do the comments first? Because we haven't had so many people to come give comment in a while. So thank you all for coming out and sharing and all the time and work that all of that took. So, all right, we just have a few more things. Yes, you can completely leave. We'll take a 60-second break and people can go.
stretches before you come up?
Yes.
that was a lot of sitting. I
It
like,
was a lot of
needing to
sitting.
move.
I know we needed.
And look, I don't have to adjust it now because it's ready for me.
Yep, it's your size.
There we go.
All right, 7.2, our second.
My height. Perfect.
Second interim financial report.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Lauren McGee, the Senior Director of Accounting, and I am here tonight to present to you our second interim budget. Oh, I forgot it vibrates. Okay. So on this slide, the general fund is in a stronger position than originally projected at our adopted budget, with an increased projected ending fund balance. Second interim results also provided an additional increase of almost 58,000, bringing our total estimated ending fund balance to about $22.6 million. So as you can see, we already discussed our first interim revenue changes, and below are the majority of the second interim revenue changes, with the most significant being almost $1 million for our special ed contribution due to an increase in revenue from our SELPA as well as some projected savings. Here is a summary of all of our changes to expenses, with one of the most significant also being an increase in our SELPA bill back. So while the revenues went up, the bill back also kind of offset that. So overall, since the adopted budget, we have seen an increase to our operations of about $2.4 million, bringing our revised decrease to fund balance to $7.5 million instead of the almost $10 million. Next is just a high-level summary of our general fund, what it looked like at adopted budget compared to the significant line items at second interim. It's also a summary in the Big Sacs document. So this is our look of our multi-year projection at first interim. So what you guys already saw back in December. And the next slide is what it looks like now. So the changes in our multi-year include the budget proposals from the governor's January budget. Also shown in this slide, you can see the district is projected to meet its 3% state and board reserves for all the way through 27-28. And we are also projected to be at the 10% cap, which is looking like will be enacted for the 26-27 budget. Next is a summary of our other funds. Just wanted to highlight two funds on here that had some bigger changes. So Fund 14 is projected to increase by $1 million due to a contribution from Fund 40 to help pay for some future deferred maintenance projects. And then for our other Fund 21, we are expected to see an increase of $3.5 million, but that's mostly just due to timing of when projects are expected to be completed. So those expenses will just shift into our 26-27 budget. Okay, so next steps. So we are currently working with sites and departments on our 26-27 budget development. We also are continuing to monitor state level revenues closely as they will directly impact our multi-year projections and budgeting decisions. We plan on bringing the 26-27 budget to public hearing on May 26th, and we plan on adopting our budget on June 9th. So overall, the second interim results show that the district remains fiscally solvent and is meeting all of the reserve levels required by the state. And with that, staff recommends that the board approves our second interim budget results.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
I know we have at least one question.
Yes. Lauren, can you go back to my favorite spreadsheet, the one with the yellow highlights?
Yes.
I heard you say, and I'm wondering if I heard it right, that
Yep.
in budget year 26-27, the reserve cap will be effective.
It looks like it.
Because we haven't been seeing that for a while.
We had it in 24-25.
Did we? Okay.
Yes. And so it was off for this year and should be
Okay.
back on for next year.
So then I turned to Joe. So I know we still have time for things to change by the end of the year. Can we plan on having a board discussion at the end of the year on what we might do and perhaps consider increasing our transfer to the 115 trust to manage that so that we're not on the radar as being above 10%. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we can chat about, and it's probably something we would suggest of sending some more money to that pension trust so that we stay below the 10%.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that could even be something that we put for unaudited actuals as the assigned fund balance to know that it's going to go over there in 26, 27.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
No questions. I'll move to approve the second interim financial report for the period ending on January 31st, 2026.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to 7.3, our West Park High Classroom and Performing Arts update.
Yeah, so that's me.
There you
Hi. So with this item, we are looking to make a modification to the contract that was approved with, for the West Park upcoming performing arts, as well as the new classroom building. So this contract was already approved by the board, but since then, we noticed an error in some of the math with the submittal, where we had some discounts because the classroom building is being matched or similarly matched to the other classroom buildings. There were some pretty significant savings, but when they did the math and turned it in, it actually showed much less than what is actually should be charged via the sliding scale through OPSC. So Scott spent time working with DLR. They both are here if you have any questions, but we feel it's appropriate, and it still provides a significant discount because they have the architectural plans from the prior buildings than we would have with any other architect. So we believe this is still a great project. It's been great working with DLR, and so staff recommends this modification to the contract.
All right, any questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0. And we're moving on to 7.4, Design Services Award for Oakmont High School's new classroom building.
Yes, this is a very exciting project. Scott Davis led a RFP looking out for different architects to bid on the Oakmont project, and he was able to work with Principal Boljan and interview different architects. And we are coming to bring the architectural agreement with PBK, recommended for approval. We're really excited to work with them, and it's going to be a really great fit. So staff recommends the approval of this architectural agreement.
Yeah, I'm really excited, very excited about this first step. So glad we're moving forward with that to get this going as soon as we can.
I'm also very excited about it, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Design Services Award.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Everybody's
You can
excited.
have
We're
it.
Everybody
very
wants to second.
excited, yeah. Can we all make the motion? Yeah.
I won't fight anyone, but that's all right.
All right, motion by Coleman and second by,
He can have it, it's all right.
okay, Shoots. All right, we got it. We're all very excited. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. This is very exciting news. Okay, well, we are moving on to staff reports and informational items. We have our McKinney-Vento presentation tonight.
Good evening, Board. I'd like to invite up Craig Gibbs. He's our wellness coordinator. And also Emily Belgard is joining him tonight. She is, and make sure I say it right, Emily, an MHS2, correct?
Correct.
Okay, mental health specialist too. I know we have a lot of acronyms, so we have to make sure we let you know. They are going to talk to you tonight about McKinney-Vento. We've had a large increase in our McKinney-Vento students, and we just wanted to give you some information on it.
Oh, thanks for having us. I'm not sure it was the right night to come, but we're glad we're here. So we're going to talk about McKinney-Vento. If the clicker works. You got it? All right, so the McKinney-Vento Act is the Homeless Assistance Act that supports students who are living in homeless situations, or as we've talked to students, they prefer unstable housing situations versus being called homeless. and making sure that they have access to a free and public education. So the standard for kind of defining the McKinney-Vento Act and how someone might qualify is we're really looking at, do they have a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence? And that might look like, go ahead and go to the next one, making sure that they live in something that's fixed. So living in a campground, living in a car is not fixed, and so those kids would qualify if their family lives in a car. Temporary shelters, hotels, motels, that's another reason that folks would qualify for McKinney-Vento. If they're doubled up, which we're going to go into a little bit more, that is another reason. And typically doubled up is through economic hardship, folks that have to live together because they can't afford to live alone. And if it's substandard space, so space is not designed for living. Like I want to say 4 years ago, we had a family, the support of one of their neighbors was nice for them because they got to live in their shed. The shed didn't have access to water, it did have power, but they had to go to the house for water. So that's an example of substandard housing. Even though they had a roof, it wasn't really a place for folks to be living. And then students that are displaced will also qualify. When the Camp Fire happened, we had several students and families that moved to our area, and they fall under McKinney-Vento, and so we were able to support them at a higher level than if they were just moving into the district. So the doubled up issue. So this becomes hard, I think, for our registrars in the district because folks sometimes just live together. And so they go through a series of questions with the families that present as doubled up. And so I'm not going to read all those. What they're really looking for is this due to the economic hardship? And one of the challenges we face is there's cultural reasons that people might live together with multiple families. And so those families would not qualify as being doubled up because that's a choice due to cultural preference. Unaccompanied youth. This one tugs on our heartstrings because we work with these kids all the time, and their kids just aren't in the physical custody of their parents. So they've either runaways or they've been kicked out of their homes. And so when we think about these kids, it's really case by case, and we're determining, do these kids need extra support under McKinney-Vento? Can we offer them that? Or do they qualify or not qualify? And so we're really working with those youth, and we're reaching out to the parents to make sure that we're on board with what's going on and provide any kind of support to help remedy some of those situations between families. So what's our responsibility? Our responsibility is to be active in identifying students that might be qualified for McKinney-Vento. The easiest way to do that is when folks register for school, they declare that they're living in a homeless situation. We ask teachers and staff to be attuned to the students. If you notice kids that are maybe wearing the same set of clothes 3 days in a row, or they're hungry all the time, or they just look disheveled, is we reach out to those kids through their parents to see if maybe something's going on and we can provide support. And then twice a year, we run a query through Aries to see which kids are qualified so that we can actively support those kids. What do they have rights to? Anybody that's McKinney-Vento has right to immediate enrollment. In a previous job, I got asked a lot, what does that mean, immediate enrollment? If a student walks into the school and says, I want to attend class today, that's immediate. We're supposed to do that. We're not always sure it's in the kids' best interest. We want to pick the right classes for them. We want to have a conversation. But if they were to ask for that, we would do that. They don't have to have records. They don't have to have shot records. They can enroll in school. The other one that is important is stability. So making sure kids that can matriculate with their class. So if a student is in the Roseville City School District and they're in a homeless situation and they move to Citrus Heights but they're still homeless, they get to attend school here with us the following year so that they stay with their peer group. That's their connection. And then we have a lot of help from Ms. Fisher behind us that organizes all sorts of transportation for kids. That's a part of her job. And then they get to participate in sports and definitely in academics. And some students, depending on their situation, actually qualify for credit reductions, and so making sure that they can graduate on time. So these are our numbers, and this is part of why we're here, is we've noticed a small trend. In 23-24, we had 285 students that were living in unstable housing. And last year it was 464, and to date, this month, we're at 462. And so the numbers are getting bigger. It's a decent size of kids that we have to support. We actually enjoy supporting to make sure that they can be successful at school. Okay, this slide drives me crazy, but it's the only way I could do it. I wanted to show, it's super bright. I just wanted to show the 23, 24, and 25 school years and pulled from the dashboard, and the homeless youth there are highlighted in blue. In the 23 school year, suspension and graduation rates were in the red for these kiddos. 24 school year, we did a little bit better, and they're in the orange and the yellow. Last year, we're getting better, and we're in the yellow for these kiddos, but we have work to do. We need to continue to support them because their graduation rates are not the best, and they are suspended at a much higher rate than housed students.
Okay, so once we go through the process of identification for students who fall within the McKinney-Vento Act, we have a formal process called a needs assessment. The very first thing we do when we receive that referral is we'll reach out to the parent or caregiver. Part of the reason for that is if a student comes home with a brand new pair of Nikes, the parent's gonna wonder where they came from, right? And we really wanna work with the parent and help understand what are the needs of the family, how can we support the parent, what needs do they identify, and then meeting with the student and also speaking with them about how we can help and support. Some of the items that we cover through that assessment of their needs are physical needs. So is there food insecurity? Can we get them connected to CalFresh or a local food bank? Is there clothing needs, hygiene supplies, school supplies? We also want to look at their overall well-being. So a lot of our unhoused students struggle with different aspects of their mental health. And so we're going to explore if they have mental health needs, physical health needs. We work in collaboration with our school nurse to help identify what those needs are and resources that we can provide. We also partner with a ton of community resources that we're going to briefly review. Is there other areas we can provide extended academic support? And then, of course, working alongside Ms. Fisher with transportation. And then also our overall goal is to help them get into stable housing, right? We don't want to put a Band-Aid on it. We want to try to get them into a fixed permanent housing situation. Okay, and so I think it's really important to talk about the collaborative process that happens with this. So we don't do this alone in the Wellness Center. We really collaborate with our school counselors, our nurses, our admin, our LSS, and we really want to figure out who does this student have a really close, trusting relationship with, and we'll coordinate with that staff member to also help identify those needs. We work with a lot of community partnerships. This is not even all of them. So Operation School Bell, Shop with a Cop, Lost But Not Forgotten, Community Cares, Target and Kohl's Shopping, those all help with clothing resources. Feet Treat students can show up at Famous Footwear and they're able to pick out a brand new pair of shoes, which is really important that teens have like voice and choice in some of the clothing that they are gifted. And so that part is something that I'm really passionate about. We partner with local churches and religious organizations. Rotary clubs, so lots of different community partnerships. And within our wellness centers, we identify the need, we'll find a way to fill it, right? So we really want these students to be able to thrive and have those most basic needs met so that they can access their education. Up to date in this school district, we have done 132 needs assessment and provided over 525 community resources. I can share community care specifically has really kind of risen to the occasion around the holiday season, and we got to play Santa. So they just spoiled our kiddos, right? So we had all of these items and we'd call them in and hand them off, and I saw tears. I saw, who do I write a thank you card for? Thank you so much. And so just seeing how much it's impacted our students, it's really fun to get to experience that on our end. And so we're really thankful for these partnerships.
So we had the opportunity we thought it would be impactful for you to hear from students who are living in these situations. We couldn't convince any of them to come here, but we were able to interview them. And so we have some audio that we're gonna share. We're only gonna share 2 bits of audio, and the rest of this, we're gonna role play it a little bit, so you get a feel. And so these are quotes from students that came right from them. So we asked the students, what challenges did you face at school because of unstable housing?
When I first moved out of my house and into a shelter, it was hard to do schoolwork because there was no Wi-Fi or the Wi-Fi was very poor. The shelter was also a long drive from Roseville. Additionally, the facility did not allow minors to stay by themselves. Since I was an online student at the time, there was no dedicated classroom for me, so the school placed me in an empty room.
What resources on campus have been most helpful?
I was placed in wellness therapy to talk about my experiences. I also received tutoring through the LSS because I was falling behind and lacked motivation to work at home. Without these supports, I likely would have skipped school because I had no way to get there. They helped me earn my credits and stay on track.
When people find out about your situation, what does that look like?
Once people find out, they spread rumors. They will say that you smell, even though I take a shower whenever I can. They also pick on little things, like wearing cheap clothing from Walmart or a random sweater that doesn't have a designer brand on it.
So the next one you're going to hear is from a student.
Well, when I was in sports, like football, and when I was in football, my coach and a couple of other people would help with getting a ride back to the place. They didn't really ever, no one really mentions that my situation, which is helpful because a lot of people aren't very nice about it.
It was like packed. I mean, it was a bunch of people, and it was like we all had our own rooms, but they weren't that big, and we just had a bunk bed. So I was on the bottom, and then my mom and my sister were on the top, on our room. And then everything was like shared. Like you have to share the bathrooms, and you have to share the kitchens, and there wasn't really like a place where like I had privacy or anything.
Yeah.
And that's also hard, like my schoolwork, cause like there was really only one computer there, and it was like mounted onto like a table, and it was in the dining room, but there was always like a little kid playing video games on it, so I could never use it anyway.
So I do want to share with you too, the students that we interviewed, and there was 3 of them, were aware of why we were interviewing them, and it was really for you. So we have those full interviews. If you care to listen to them, each of them were about 10 minutes long. I'm happy to share those. I'll share those through Mel. And I encourage you, they're very touching. I encourage you to hear the kids' full story. And with that, we're going to wrap up. But, you know, students in unstable situations, they just want to be cared about. They want to be loved on. And I think our school district does a really good job of that. I think they feel like they belong at school. And it really helps them academically, that they have a resource that's available to them all the time.
So with that, we just want to thank you for your continued support of our services and our staff members who continue to assist these students. I hope this presentation gave you some information about McKinney-Vento and the district's growing number. It's so important that we all understand the need of this specific population. And as always, feel free to reach out to Student Services for more information. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, you guys, so much. I have just one quick question. I was talking to one of the principals, and we got on the topic of McKinney-Vento and just homeless students in general, and the fact that sometimes when they come back from, say, Christmas break or summer break, they've lost a lot of weight from sometimes not having the same access to the meals. And I wondered if there was, you know, any thing that we're doing around that. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of this work, a bulk of this work, although it's collaborative, is done by our family and community engagement liaisons. And so I mentioned before, we don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it, right? We want to create things that these students and families can sustain over winter break, over summer break, and beyond graduation. And so part of that is getting them connected to CalFresh, so working with community agencies to get that accomplished, and then also having them know where to access local food banks. And we also have a lot of churches and other organizations in the area that also have drive-through food events. So really helping and empowering them to find those resources in the community.
We have a really strong partnership with Feeding the Foothills. In fact, our staff every year with our new interns of that program, we go tour Feeding the Foothills, so they like can see it and know what it's about and how to access it and help access it for students and families.
Okay.
I have a quick-
Go ahead.
Let's go for it.
Quick question. First of all, thank you for all that you're doing, and I appreciate this presentation. It's very touching. I noticed that the needs assessment, you said you've done 132 so far this year. How often do you do them? Because I'm looking at the 462. So how does that work?
So that we query twice a year the students that have identified, and so twice a year we're actively reaching back out, beginning of school and then when we come back from break. And so we're reaching out to families to see if they have more need and how we can support.
So if they say no, we're good, then you don't proceed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, if you listen to the kids' interviews, there's stigma around this, as you can imagine. There's some shame in this. And so sometimes when we pull students, we've talked to the parent who's like, yes, please. We pull the kid and the kid's like, we're fine. I don't need this. Don't call me. So that's the reason the numbers don't always match up is the kids, there's stigma around it for them.
Okay.
There's also such a great importance of our family and community engagement liaisons in building those family relationships, because we may have a senior who's about to graduate and may not access the support, but those relationships are being built with the families, right? And so as younger siblings come through and trust is established, again, mentioning the stigma involved with that, we are able to help those younger siblings as they come through. And we really try to remove all barriers. I mean, we've had family liaisons do porch drop-offs of necessities, things like that. So if we can make it happen, we will.
Just want to thank the wellness centers and you guys for all you're doing. I know it's definitely a collaborative effort. And maybe student service could follow up, but I was curious about the total numbers that you shared earlier, which are district-wide, right? Which schools, how it varies by our schools, and if there's any thought to what's contributing to those increases. I know we're reacting and kicking in more services, but what's going on out there that's causing those numbers to go up? And I know that may vary by locale, but.
We're laughing because Emily, before this, she said, what if they ask this question?
Okay, see, you're ready.
All I can do is I can guess.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly. I'm going to guess, and I'd have to look to Judy to know when she queried the numbers where most of the kids are. But I think as the population grows and as new housing goes in, I have a feeling more families are doubling up. So if I had to guess, that would be my guess. I also think this is a coveted school district. People want to send their kids to school here, and so they're making it happen, and they're trying to get it as best they can. That'd be my guess.
Okay, thank you.
I also just wanted to add my thanks, and I had that same question, Bill, so I'm glad you asked, but thank you so much. I have learned so much tonight from your presentation, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing in our community, and I really valued hearing that you work so closely with families, knowing that they're the ones that continue on after schools graduate from high school, and trying to do more than put the Band-Aid on it during high school, but making a long-term impact. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to add in too, I'm just grateful that we're able to do what we can do. I'm even more grateful for all those community partners that step up and help. And it wasn't always this way. For a long time, schools were kind of hands-off on that approach. And it's personal to me. Many of you have met my wife. She grew up homeless, living in a car during elementary school. And the effects of that are still felt by her today. So anything that we can do to address this need is critically important. So I'm glad that you guys are doing it. I'm glad that we're able to make sure that we can support it and make sure that we have the programs available. So just keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, that brings us to staff comments. Any staff comments over there? No? All right, we're all talked out. Item 9, Horizon Report. We do have some pending, we have a meeting. So a board workshop boundary coming up on the
I see the 24th is empty, and it's one of our asterisk meetings. Is that looking like we'll have a meeting or not have a meeting?
Where are we at with some of the bargaining stuff? That's all, we don't need the meeting on the 24th, correct?
Correct. We'll bring the AB 1200 certifications at the first April meeting.
All right.
And we'll wait till the April meeting to sunshine with CSEA. We're not
Perfect.
quite ready yet.
There's your answer.
So I can make plans. I've got something pending, that's what I'm asking.
Yes,
Thanks.
you can make plans.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know last time when we canceled a meeting, some of the students still came from the government class. So that'll get noted that it's canceled as soon as we know for sure if it's canceled. Okay. Sure. Oh, yeah, we're getting some from Center. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There we go. We were more excited about the Oakmont High than we were about adjourning. All right, motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, have a good evening.